Hello, welcome back to the Ezoic Affiliate Gathering 2024 live stream. Thank you for bearing with us while we had some slight technical difficulties. You know what these things are like on the day. And I'm joined now by the wonderful Ben, a business development manager here at Ezoic. I'm going to be chatting about our last few presentations that we've just been watching and really how they apply to the current industry. Ben, welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
Hello. Yeah, good. It's good to go back and repeat ourselves. Good job we like speaking, Matt. Have we no good?
Yeah,
everyone. It's great. It's great to see publishers in person compared to sort of the usual stuff over Zoom and email. Feels a lot more personable, especially at a time when things just feel a bit more, a lot of changes, a lot of things going on, and it's great to connect with people.
Is this your first affiliate conference or conference in the industry?
Within the industry, first time. So, absolutely loving it and very insightful for sure. So definitely taking a lot from it. Yeah, which is great.
Awesome, glad to hear. Now, we chatted about it just before whilst we were on mute, accidentally. But I would love for you just to chat for those of the people on the live stream that don't quite know what your role is at Ezoic, what you do and how you help our publishers.
Yeah, just so I work as a business development manager. So my key role is prospecting and meeting new customers and essentially bringing new revenue into the company, whilst also helping publishers grow and using our tools, hopefully some industry insight that I've had been in the company for 2 years next week. So nice to do something for it as well. I know this event's not just for me, obviously, but it's great to do that.
Yeah,
and from that, we then sort of get everyone going and then go to our account managers, which is what you do, Matt. So,
Exactly. So as we chatted earlier with Jennifer, both myself and Jennifer manage and help our publishers long-term with content strategy and really rely on the expertise of people such as Ben to get those sites into a fantastic position. So it's really important work what you do. Now, speaking more towards what we've just been watching recently at the affiliate gathering, has there been any chats so far, presentations in the main stage or chats with publishers that have unearthed the hidden gem that you've not known about?
Yeah, definitely. I think I really enjoyed Matt's speech on the affiliate stuff. I think it's a bit different, sort of what I do on a day-to-day basis. However, I think a lot of core stuff there about knowing your audience, engaging with customers, whether that being affiliates, using ads or whatever. I think there's a lot of good takeaways from that. So really enjoyed that. And then I think the key word is just sort of like diversifying, and I think that's super, super important because of what's going on. Addressing the elephant in the room that we all know is going on, which is Google. A lot of good stuff from that.
Yeah, we were chatting that even with Ryan from Motion Invest earlier. We were chatting about how that being able to look at different sources of potential traffic and different sources of monetization and really put many, many fingers in many pots so that if something like a Google update does happen and that unpredictability comes into reality, you are set up for success on different platforms and you can still leverage those. So I definitely think that's become a really important point, as you say, because people have experienced usually a negative shift in the last couple of months due to the recent updates. So being able to have something to fall back on is really helpful.
Yeah, completely.
We just had a really wonderful presentation with Chino's SEO discussing topic clusters and how that can really go in tandem with the ranch style SEO that we discussed in our Ezoic Masterclass just yesterday. Do you think that with the rise of AI and these super long form articles with every single question answered, that these more niche focused people first articles might become more popular going forward?
For sure. I mean, I think with the recent sort of like Google, helpful content stuff, especially you need to write. We've got all these great AI tools and stuff we provide Ezoic and within the industry. But to answer your question, I think you need to be writing to your user, know your audience, and therefore ChatGPT, you shove these keywords into there, and it will write, as you say, a huge article. So which that's does a human really want to read all of that? I probably wouldn't. It's write for your reader and understand how the audience interacts with your site. It's super important.
Yeah, and on that point, I think it's really interesting and funny sometimes that you can put the most simple question in ChatGPT and what color is a sunflower, and it will give you a 7-page response. And that does tend to be how people have been approaching. And we're seeing, everything you need to know articles, for example, have the most unique monthly page views. And so it's something that people are pivoting more towards in their content. And that has allowed other creators to then stand out by saying, no, I'll do the opposite, which is really interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I think on that as well, not just like churning out like big chunk of text, like having being dynamic with your content is super important as well. So we do more than just for that, So.
And would you say in terms of content, there's anything that publishers are starting to add to their content or changing with their content that is really helping them to recover from this update?
Yeah, so for sure. So I know that recently, SEMrush has done a lot of analysis into the importance of video. So video is a massive thing that we're pushing, and for the right reasons. With one blog article will rank 52% higher in organic search than without. So that's a perfect example of just diversifying your content for the right reason. And in essence, you're going to boost your engagement and other stuff, which of course is very favourable to Google, even though we all feel they're not being very favourable at the moment. So
we find the wins where we can.
That's it. That's all you can do.
So is that something that you've been pushing the publishers that you work with and encouraging them to try out?
Yeah, for sure. I think when I first started at Ezoic, and again, not only 2 years ago, but I didn't really come from a video background or anything like that particularly. And the way the industry is shifting through these, obviously content updates and the writing to your actual audience. And I think YouTube is the second biggest search engine out there, all video focused. It's super important, have to get on it. So to answer your question, yes, so for my role onboarding, from publishers who have their own channels and they can easily import using our tools, that's great. But for me, I'm more working with video strategies for those who don't do that, and with our tools and my best ability, showing them how to do it themselves. And we're seeing great success in recovering from that, which is great.
I definitely think it's something that a lot of publishers can find different ways to apply to them.
Definitely. Yeah.
I know that you work with publishers in many different industries and tool sites to typical content creation sites, and there's always ways that you can fit those videos in. Would you say that there's different ways that videos can be tailored, and have you seen different types of videos that have worked for these specific industries?
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that I'll sort of push with the people I'm working with, again, from different niches, is sort of look at what your top landing pages are. Identify from your video strategy, you've got a lot of evergreen content that is going to be always going to be sort of ranking highly with the stuff you're writing for. For sure, that's the first place to start. And then from that, whether it being using Niche IQ, which we provide for the SEO stuff, or looking at keywords from your competitors, using SEMrush, then build the video strategy around that, And it's super important to also title those, link to those keywords. So I think the key takeaway is don't just create video and shove it on and that'll 52%, give you high search rankings. It's making sure it's relevant to your audience and the article that you're posting about. So that's super, super important.
I agree with you. I think it is really important to look at video as not just something to slap on the page, but to have a plan and a content strategy when it comes to video, just as you would do with normal content.
Absolutely.
We have, I've seen people come into our wonderful booth today to discuss our products and talk about video and say, oh, right, I'll use it on my site then. But I think there's also different applications, for example, video length, and if you're going for engagement or if you're searching for increased revenue, there's lots of different applications there. Outside of video, would you say there's any other particular tools that people are more trending towards or that you're encouraging people to take advantage of?
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff, and it goes back to SEO, it all ties in with that, especially with the drop people are seeing. So using our stuff SEO stuff is super important as well, which feeds into your content strategy. And then I think even just sort of traffic sources is a super important thing, diversifying. So even if you don't use our tool Spotify to convert these videos, at least enabling QMix and getting the shared videos from other publishers in our ecosystem, gets 1.2 billion page views a month, no effort, turn it on, and you're also driving traffic from other sources. So buzzword, just diversify, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. to do that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
For context, Sheemix is our video player, which is super lightweight, and I definitely think to your point that being able to have a system where even if you've not managed to create your own videos yet, being able to harness videos that are related to your niche in order to increase that engagement already is incredibly powerful. And especially when you're, all hands on deck trying to recover from an update and you don't have the time, being able to just flick it on and that will instantly generate those videos for you, either Flickify or you can use those related videos, can be really, really powerful.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, speaking about what's coming up next, is there anything that's coming up in the conference, either a presentation or publishers that you really want to talk to? Is there anything coming up that you're excited about?
The events, I think there's a few stuff out there on the spot now. I can't drop the names off the cuff, but definitely some interesting people here, publishers from all shapes and sizes, and I think it's just we rarely do this in person, just customer facing and being like, hey, what's going on, what's working for you? I think that's another one thing, because I can learn stuff from all the people and it's worked for them. Let's look at the data and see if it'll work for you. So just keep chatting to people. That's how keep doing.
Yeah, and I know that you've worked with some publishers that are even here today, which is really exciting because it can be fun and interesting to get on a Zoom call and explain things, but in person is a lot easier to sit down together to chat through how tools work, how the data works, and come up with these plans together in a way that can be really interesting and collaborative. We don't often get those opportunities to do.
Yeah, no, we don't. Some publishers have came from outside the UK, and I think it's we don't get it very often, so it's perfect timing with what's going on. So great to support and listen, and I'm excited for what's coming, to be honest, as well. I think a few people have mentioned, Jason mentioned straight away, opportunity. There is so much opportunity out there, and I think utilizing the tools and strategies, so keep plodding on, I suppose. Keep working.
Exactly. I think that's something that people are really hammering home in this affiliate gathering more than any other, having to ensure, even when there's setbacks or when you see a real significant decline in traffic, that these things are temporary sometimes, that they can come back. And even if they don't, being able to harness the tools that you use naturally as a webmaster to be able to go into other fields, create ways to monetize those, and then bring that back in order to leverage that further.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do think that there's some really insightful content. Yeah. Now, speaking about our publishers and how they might be able to recover from Google Update, would you have any key takeaways based on what we have watched so far, and also in your own professional experience? What might someone want to do if they have been hit by the update to sort of bounce back? Yeah,
I think look at the core values as a user publisher, what makes you unique, and what's the way that you're actually engaging with your audience. I think one of the key takeaways, I've just recently got, I can't remember her name on the spot, we recently deployed a very cute dog, about the way you different channels, with that Facebook. That's the one. And straight up asking your audience. I think I took a lot from that. At the minute, it feels like second guessing because Google's just like that. What can we do? What can we try? But I think, especially with helpful content, what is your audience? What do they think? How do they feel? And then you can build your video strategy around that. And I think the toolbox, which definitely we provide, we can do a lot for you for that and help you collaborate. But I think it does need to start with your users and then build from that. That's super important. So that's the key takeaway. So I think sometimes just asking the question as well, I'm definitely with my coaches, just before talking about, we can do this, really just being what's going on? How do you think things are going? What is your audience thinking? Because, it's uncertain times, but it'll be fun.
I think that's really distilling it down to the most simplistic essence of put people first, which is, I think, exactly what a lot of people have really come to the conclusion of now of, well, if I can't quite trust these results, and if I'm not sure how these keywords are going to go, why don't I just ask the people looking at my content in the first place? And if I'm making them happy, I will naturally be targeting the niche that those people fall into.
Yeah.
So I definitely would agree that that's been a real focus. Well, thank you for chatting to us today. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the gathering.